Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Soul Mechanics. I'm your host, Jim Hecker. Well, we are live on the air tonight after a couple months where we've been going back and forth with our schedules here at Access Tucson Studios. But we are back. So if you would like a psychic reading, it's real easy. Pick up the telephone and dial 520-629-0683. I'm going to need your hair color and eye color, and then we're going to start a focal point, make a story about your life, and see where things are leading. A lot of things I want to talk about tonight, and some things are troubling with the changing situation within the world. And the first thing that's really bothering me is this ISIL group, or what they call ISIS, is going around slaughtering people, and it's in the name of religion. Seems like our current administration is having a lot of difficulty understanding who our enemy is, or they just do not want to get involved with tagging anybody of a religious nature or offending anyone. We do have a phone call. I'm going to go right to the phone lines. We're going to talk more about this. If you have any opinion, let me know. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
This is Barb.
Okay, I'm not hearing you in the studio. I'm real sorry.
Okay, I'll turn it up.
Eric, can you turn up the
please.
studio volume, please?
Yes, my name is Barb, and I have brown hair and brown eyes.
Okay, I still can't hear you. We're having technical difficulty in the studio. I'll try to get that corrected, okay? Okay, what's your name again?
Barb.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Barb. Is that better?
Okay, what is your hair color and eye color?
Brown.
Okay, do you have a question for me? I'm just getting no audio in the studio, so I'm barely hearing you. Okay.
My question is,
all right. What is your question?
How am I going to do in school?
Hello? Okay, we lost that caller. Okay, folks, I have to apologize. We have no volume going into the studio. Things like that happen. It's just a natural thing. But I did want to get into talking about what is going into the state of the world. It's very reminiscent of the 1930s when Nazi Germany was in the rise. Here's some interesting historical facts. Franklin Delano Roosevelt came into power in 1933, and so did Adolf Hitler. Both of them, of course, had different agendas. One was democratic and one was a dictator. The man lied. The man was an aggressor. He wanted territory. He wanted to expand out so his people could have more populated areas to accommodate the German growth. You know, in the beginning, this is how he bamboozled everyone. We actually, the powers that be after World War I, at the signing of the Versailles Treaty, which was in 1918, or actually 1919, Woodrow Wilson set up what it was called the League of Nations, which incidentally did not work out or succeed. Germany was beaten down. Germany had no economy. Price of a loaf of bread was 4 million marks. I don't even know what that would be in that time in economy. They were looking for someone to pull them out of the rat hole. Along comes this charismatic orator, Adolf Hitler. I know how it feels. He was in World War I. He got the Iron Cross for bravery as a runner in Belgium. Of course, he was on the losing side. He never got over that. He blamed the Jewish people for all the miseries that were going on. And I'm going to tie this correlation in because what ISIL is doing in ISIS, not only are they going after the Jewish population, but the Christian one as well. So what is going on? Ethnic cleansing, purification, a new world order. What is going on? And look how quickly events change within our world. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know. First thing Hitler did was march into the Sudetenland. All my brother Germans, they're not making it with Czechoslovakia. He took over Czechoslovakia at the Munich Agreement. If you remember, President John F. Kennedy's father was ambassador to England at that time. He had a non-appeasement attitude. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And this is where we need to learn our lessons. Why are we appeasing people? Why are we making considerations when, you know, the bottom line is they want to kill us? Well, now you get to 1939, and no one's tolerating the free land grabs by Hitler, so he invades Poland. Captures Poland within 6 weeks. New form of warfare called blitzkrieg. Armored, mechanized, foot soldiers, air support, all coordinated to make a tremendous pounding, to knock the opponent totally off balance, blindside them, and of course they lost. And then but the reason Hitler rose to power, he promised the German people, I will put food on your table, you will have a job. You know, he even invented the Volkswagen. I don't know if many people know that. It was called the people's car, Volk, people. And he designed it and drew it, and they put it together. And he built the Autobahn. He did all the infrastructure within his country. He raised the hopes of all the people. He raised the hopes that after their total defeat in World War I, and let's keep this in mind, Germany was an aggressive nation, so, you know, I guess in universal karma, if you're going to start a fight, you better be able to finish it. They did not. So for the first 4 or 5 years of Hitler's administration, the people loved him. He was so-called peaceable at the time. He had his own army. He had the SS. He had the brown shirts. Then he started the war. 50 million people died. 50 million. Can you believe that? Now let's fast forward the tape a little bit. 2015. Barack Obama, on his promise in 2008, when he was elected into office, I will remove all the troops from Afghanistan and Iraq. He wanted to start phasing all that out. Military powers, Joint Chiefs of Staff, every military advisor told Mr. Obama, it's not good, first of all, to broadcast when we're leaving, and second of all, we needed probably a contingency force, 20, 25,000 men. Didn't happen. So what's going on? This new group, Al-Qaeda, they're defeated. Obama said that. They're defeated, they're not rising, we got them, it's all finished. But it isn't all finished. Now we have this new faction who is so rapidly taking over territory. Look how fast Hitler conquered Europe. He did it in the span of 1 year. His whole total idea was world domination and partnership with the Japanese Empire, which would have had the Pacific Ocean all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. The whole globe. Thinks it's a good idea to kill people because of their religion, or the way they look, or the color of their skin, or the faith they practice, or any cultural aspect. What's going on? Well, I would like an opinion. I'm sorry we're not getting audio in the studio, but we do have some important messages I want to put out. I've been thinking about this. I'm going to do a reading on ISIL and find out what is their intentions, what do they really want to do? Do they want to come here and start bombing our malls like they did at the Boston Marathon? Do they want to poison our water system? What's going on? Why do they want us dead? We are called infidels. I don't know much about the Muslim faith. I do have Muslim friends. I do have Iraqi friends. These are nice people, hardworking. They like being merchants. They like creating security for their family, just like any American family would do. And but I met a Kurdish Iraqi, and the Kurds do not even consider themselves Iraq, and they even have a new flag and a new country. It's called Kurdistan. Again, here's where the events of war, going all the way back to World War I again. what happened to the Middle East when everybody divided up all the spoils of war and took their pencils out on a situation map and started making borders and forcing people into subjugation. It's just terrible. This group wants to kill Christians. Look, that video. Oh my God. When that Syrian fighter pilot went on a mission, was shot down, they captured him. The way they filmed his brutal execution, it was outrageous. This is nothing new. President Obama says in the Crusades, we went out there with crosses on our armor, and we had our mighty swords and all the modern weaponry of their days and archers, and we went around just devastating land and killing people. I think Mr. Obama forgot one important fact, though. It was the Muslim nation that started the Crusades through wanting to take over territory. Fast forward again to the year 2015. ISIL is in Syria, ISIL is in Iraq, Afghanistan, moving into Africa. What is going on? Why can't this administration identify our enemy? They're getting latest intelligence from all our friends. And what is the big hassle with Israel? Prime Minister Netanyahu is coming here, I believe, March 3rd or 4th. He wants to address the Congress of the United States. And he wants to give his position as a tiny little country that wanted independence, which was won in 1949, why Iran should not have nuclear capabilities. Another thing that our administration should point out, if they're looking at Al Jazeera or any of those news outlets, that these people are burning effigies of the Prime Minister. These people are burning effigies of Barack Obama. I mean, and this is a man that wants to go to the peace table and say, okay, we'll let you use nuclear energy for electrical resource or whatever you want to do. But it's that close again from building a bomb. Yes, it is true. The United States used the first nuclear weapon. It was an atomic bomb, and it was directed at Hiroshima. A lot of people died, 70,000 from the initial blast, maybe 100, 150,000 from radiation poisoning. But it was on the level of when we were doing mass bombings. My father was a bomber pilot in World War II. Not to mention he was also Jewish. Well, we are getting a phone call. See if we can get any audio now. Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello?
Eric, if you're in the control room, can you turn up the volume? I'm not getting anything. I'm sorry, folks. We're just going to have to carry on the dialogue. If you do want a reading from me professionally, my office number is up 520-301-1698. Or you can email me at jfhecker@msn.com. Or just go on Jim Hecker on Facebook, and perhaps we can go that route. Do want to also remind everyone we have the 4th Avenue Street Fair coming up next month. I believe it's the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I will be down there if you want to get a reading in person. I'll be in front of Caruso's restaurant on 4th Avenue. I've done 15 or 16 shows now. Now, I'm going to go explore a reading concerning this. Seems to be a religious war where Christians are no good anymore and the Jewish people are no good. And what we're looking at is we want a Muslim-based world. And this ambition, this end goal, or this megalomania, no different from what Hitler wanted. Probably no different from what Napoleon wanted. Genghis Khan, all the ruthless dictators of the world. These people are serious. Do you remember how Hitler gained the trust of his people? He had an organization called the Hitler Youth. You could join it like the Boy Scouts when you were 5 or 6. ISIL or ISIS is now training youngsters, 10 years old. The mindset is Sharib law, you know, Women have no rights. Women can't drive, especially in Saudi Arabia. They're real strict over there. And we want to put you back to where things were in the time of Christ, when the Romans had the world. Okay, let's check out a reading on the direction of what's going to happen if these brutal kidnappings and these killings persist, okay? I'm going to use the symbol called the chariot because a favorite weapon is the tank, and it kind of looks like a tank to me. But I'm also going to focus emotionally and mentally on what is the mindset of these people and what is it we should look out for. And there's other problems that we're going to have to talk about before the evening is concluded. And, you know, one is immigration. The other is the IRS scandal. I'll tell you, I'm sure being president of the United States has got to be probably the toughest job in the whole world. And what I thought about when I started hearing all these contradictory statements, especially about Lois Lerner, the IRS scandal, what's going on with the VA, you know, Eric Holder holding up all kinds of stuff in administration. You know, when we had a Democratic Congress and House and Senate, Barack Obama was in a much stronger position to implement what could have been really good things for the country. Now they're trying to get a coalition together. What is probably the American people's biggest expense? I would say fuel cost is, or just getting back and forth, going shopping, going to work, going to church, going on a vacation, going on a trip. And I'm sure, as well as I have, you've been enjoying this $2 a gallon business when it was up to $4, $4.25, even up to $5 in some parts of the country. Why cannot we take oil from Canada, going through a pipeline that will go all the way to Texas and to the East Coast? We could refine the oil in our own industry here and save half the money. And then you got the environmentalists say, we don't want anything going on, we don't want any oil going across the land, we don't want to destroy the environment, this and that and everything else. Why do they forget what happened with oil? Who remembers the Exxon Valdez when it went against the reef over there in Alaska? Dumped a whole ship full of oil and just spoiled the whole environment for decades. Just read a news story about a train that overturned with a bunch of oil tankers. What is more dangerous? Going across the ocean with a ship full of oil, or going across country with rail? What is the situation? Okay, let's look at the reading. The chariot is representing aggression or a warlike mood. I'm concentrating on ISIL. What's very interesting is that the devil came up in the reading, which is their attitude towards how we are as Christians or Jews. We are the infidel. We are Satan. The United States has been termed Big Satan, and Israel, Little Satan. And by the way, what happened to our relations with Israel? Why is the Democratic administration so against listening to the Prime Minister, who has proved over and over again they will carry the fight with or without any government's permission? They have been succeeding in battle since 1949. Or was it 47? 1947 when the Israeli nation was created. The Arab nations tried to destroy them in the Six-Day War. Israel preempted them, took out the Air Force, and actually doubled their territory when everybody thought this is a pushover thing. We're just going to invade. We're going to conquer everyone. Then back in the 70s, we had renewed fighting. But there's one important aspect. Who was the president at that time? That had to be Dick Nixon was president, Tricky Dick himself. But I'll tell you what, with all the other problems we were having in the country, being in Vietnam, losing over 50,000 soldiers there, to have this crop up and thrown on your plate, he did something about it. He sent arms. He sent weapons. He sent tanks. He replenished airplanes. He put the power in the people who could use it. Now, what's going on over here? Well, let's see what the reading says here. You know, these people are very intelligent. First of all, they've been planning this for a long time. They were waiting for certain opportunity. It did crop up. If they are not stopped in the next 4 years, they're going to take over countries like Iraq, Syria, and factions that are in Africa. There's other parts of the world that are having problems. Brazil is trying to incorporate a communist regime there, you know, and in cahoots with Putin over there in Russia and Castro over there in Cuba. And I have friends in Brazil. By the way, I want to say hello to Kiki. Hola, Kiki. And hope things are okay over there. The more I study about the history of these people, they're great people. We really shouldn't judge anyone. We shouldn't be prejudiced. Take a man one-on-one. Take a woman one-on-one. I believe it may take the incorporation of a new administration. And that's tough to figure out, too. First of all, Hillary Clinton, who is going to be probably the forerunner in the Democratic Party, her track record isn't so good. She's not her husband, Bill, okay? She's been caught lying about being in war zones like all these other people are getting nailed to the cross. Brian Williams lying about being in battle. They're going after O'Reilly right now. Why can't we get it together? When I went to school, pledge allegiance to the flag, and we said our morning prayers because I went to a Catholic school. And on certain occasions, we sang God Bless America. Why is that all gone? Why do people want to take religion out of the growth-oriented structure of our population, our children, our future generations? Why is that? Well, I've got my own theory about that. If you study the Bible, and some people believe that we are approaching the end times, we're really not going to know. It says strictly in the Bible that, you know, the Lord will come like a thief in the night, so nobody really can predict it. But it is also written that Satan would give reign to the earth 100 years. We may be in that time period right now, seeing a lot of changes. I also found myself revisiting history when the story of Fatima, when the Blessed Virgin appeared to the 3 peasant children, and the messages that were given to the Catholic Church that were supposed to be released. Was it prophetic? Did it have to released in 1960? They didn't release it, at least till part of it, till the 1980s. We have to recapture the family fabric. We have to be together, father and mother, good education, encouragement, love, clergy, church. Or else this world's heading into a lot of trouble, and I, for one, don't want to see our world headed into a lot of trouble. But I believe things will change, things will get better. Presidents come, presidents go, Congress comes, Senate goes. It's all evolving, it's all changing, and that's the way it's going to be. Well, we're just about out of time, folks. I'm sorry that we had some audio problems tonight. If you want a reading, I'll go ahead and put the number up. That's the end of the show. Have a good night, y'all.